YouTube. So I decided that I want to share more through YouTube because I feel like you actually get to know someone. I have developed my social media following off of Instagram and sharing my journey, but I want to be real involved. And with that being said, as a lot of people ask how I'm so positive, or how are you always so happy or so perfect in this aspect, and this video is kind of gonna go to show that I'm not, that there is a reason why I have an outlook on life the way I do. It's gonna be a very touchy subject, thinking like my eyes, but as far as to develop that connection of why I view things the way I view. So obviously my social media following came from losing weight, is why I went public with it. About 2 years ago to this month, I decided to post my journey on social media. But what came to that and why I decided to do it was because I was tired of not going after everything I personally wanted. Lack, and basically what led me to killing myself because I was trying to be perfect for other people. And that goes back today, which I will talk about. That it's a struggle. But anyways, sum it up. So in 2016, March of 2016, I had been going to school. I was growing up as far as losing the weight, or that was my main struggle, but also the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to try to be just whatever your parents wanted you to, which that led me personally to be, I worked 40 hours. I actually worked 40 hours, got a second job on my own, to have 2 jobs just for an extra income to stay afloat as somebody paying my way through college, having no debt, taking 19 hours. So 19 hours of school, a full job, a second job just to have money. Like, there's a point that you are just mentally exhausted, like it's not a physical, it's a mental. But I'm not complaining about that because that's what I did, because I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to get that college degree. I wanted everything. I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to make everybody else proud, but I was killing myself inside. And I was never like a normal college kid. I worked all throughout. It wasn't that dream that you have in high school that you're going to go to college, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You don't have that ideal, or you don't know how money functions in that aspect when you're still in high school. So I basically was just striving to be perfect in every aspect, perfect to make everybody else proud, perfect to get my weight under control, perfect to have those college degrees, just because that's what you think you're supposed to. That's what I thought. That's personally what I thought. From the pressure from your parents to get do certain things. You're trying to live up to different expectations that in turn I killed myself. So that being said, one of my last semesters of finishing out my degree, I had just completed, it was March, so the semester before I skipped the last classes before spring break, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the pressure. The pressure was killing me. No one's meant to be perfect. So I took me and my best friend, it was spring break hit, and I was like, for once out of my whole college career before I graduate, I'm going to do a spring break. And I'm gonna have fun. And I'm from Austin, Texas, so we have South by. South by hits every year, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I had planned to do a Panama trip Thursday through that following Monday just to go. Well, the Panama trip fell out, and we ended up, it was like, okay, let's go down to South by. So South by we did Monday, party down there. Tuesday we did South by, party down there. Wednesday I went to the lake, just spring break things. I requested off work. I was like, I'm gonna be a full-time party kid, I'm gonna do this. And because I had never taken a step back just regularly, I went too hard during this period that involved alcohol. So I didn't drink. Occasionally here and there, margaritas. I personally like tequila, but when I went to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I had drank alcohol all 4 of those days. 4 days, all the way till Thursday. And Thursday night, or Thursday, I was supposed to go to Panama, and that got canceled. So me and one of my best friends were like, well, he lived down by by South Padre, so we were like, well, let's take a day trip. We didn't have a hotel, I didn't have anything, we were winging it, like, and it was going with the flow, because for once it didn't matter what I did, I was just wanted to do it. And so Thursday morning we woke up in Austin, and he came over, he was like, let's go. And I was like, I'm always a planner, I'm like, we don't have plans, we can't do this. And he's like, come on. And I was like, we're gonna wing it. So we drove 5 hours down from Austin all the way down to South Padre, because in Texas, South Padre is the place to go. And we got down there Thursday night, partied, went to a concert at some bar and drink. So that's 4 days straight that drinking. The 5th day came, March 18th, 2016. Came, and we had slept in the car the night before, and we went down to the beach. 11 o'clock again. Like, you don't sleep on spring break weekend. So 11 o'clock again, we had gone down to the beach, and we split up, because he was a guy, I was a girl, we were best friends, and you're down there just to have fun, and you're just winging it. Got my tissues ready. I've never publicly told this story, so we were just winging it, and we were walking the beach at 10. Well, automatically you start drinking, and the sun's coming out at South Padre Island. At 10 o'clock we started drinking. 11 o'clock we kept drinking, and the day before, being a bikini, was struggling over my weight, I hadn't ate lunch. I think we got a banana at Walmart, and that was good. But I had been drinking 4 days prior and not eating a lot, so alcohol was the only thing really in my system. So we were drinking on the beach. One thing led to another. Alcohol. It was all alcohol. And it got to the point that we were partying, and I was having a good time, and I had split up, and we had said hi and caught up. I met people that I actually still talk to 2.5 years later today. But I was drinking, and then all of a sudden I got hit in the head with a football, and I went down. So that was the last thing I remember. And to the point that I fell to the ground, and the 3 people I had standing around me, all you hear is them yelling your name. And I couldn't open my eyes. I was glazed. And they're, Savannah, Savannah, Savannah. And they're like, give her water. She hasn't had water. Give her water. She hasn't had water. So they sit me up, also people that are drunk, and they start pouring water down my throat. And all I remember is sitting up, and somebody's literally holding me, and I just spit it up. It's not going down, I'm not swallowing. And I fell back to the sand, and they lift me up, and they said she needs to eat. And they tried to get me to take a bite of a protein bar. And I remember so many things going on, but your eyes are just closed. I didn't see anything, I didn't know anything. And I bit it. It was like the reaction just to get people to shut up. And I bit down on it. And as soon as I bit, I spit out, and my head hit the sand. And all I hear is somebody yell, get the EMS. So on the beach, you have thousands of people, and I hear the 4Runner wheels, and you have these people come over, and it's all I know is my head's on the sand, and they put you on a board, and the last thing I remember before told anything was 1, 2, 3 and up in the car. That's the last thing I remember. So that paused. The next thing I woke up, I was in the emergency room. I was actually admitted, and I think a lady, when I finally came really coherent, a lady was helping me shower, and I just remember having sand all over my body, and I didn't know. So by the time I get to the bed and I didn't know anything. I was like, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what happened. I was like, okay, like I'll take this as an L. Like I'll take it as a responsibility. I drank too much. That was the problem. Like I was like, okay, I understand. So I get in my hospital bed and I'm like, my main thing was like, I lost my phone, I lost my Ray-Bans, I lost my car. Like, what is going on? How do you recover from this? And I'm laying on the bed and a nurse comes in and she's like, your best friend will be here soon. I was like, okay. And your sister's on the way up. And they were coming in from Austin. And she's coming around. And then another nurse comes in. And my best friend walks in her and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I think we just drank too much like alcohol poison. And it's like, it was embarrassing. And I was like, I didn't know, which it still is, because I let myself get that irresponsible. And I sat there and the lady came around, and this is when little by little the story started to unravel. She came around the bed and she looked at me like she knew me. And she was like, here's your phone. You need to sign for all of this. It came off a Starflight. And my best friend sitting by the bed, and I was like, what are you talking about, Starflight? I was like, I didn't go Starflight, I'm sitting in this room. And she goes, I can't tell you how happy we are that you reached for the tube in your throat. And I was like, what? And she kind of looked, she was like, I'm gonna give you a minute. And I said, okay. So me and my best friend talked, and we were like, I don't really know what. I was like, what happened? And he goes, I can't tell you. I don't know. So then the next doctor came in, and then all of a sudden they said, your mom and your sister are on their way. When they walked in, that all happened. And fast forward, then my mom asked one of the nurse she asked what happened. And he said, ma'am, I can't give you those records from the ICU. So at this point, it wasn't a game no more. It wasn't Savannah just fucked up. Like, what just happened? Why was I in the ICU? Why was I on Starflight? Like, what happened? I just drank too much, right? And then when the final so we were sitting there, and another doctor came in and said, I was the one that was there. There were multiple. And then, no, backtrack, sorry. It was all through the day, and the doctor had to come get me. They had to like discharge you. So I'm sitting on the bed, I didn't know what the story was. I didn't know until at the end of the day. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I just accepted that I messed up. And a doctor came and stood in the doorway. We were playing cards, waiting to be released. I was on IVs, putting water into my system, obviously. And a guy came and stood at the door, and he started staring. And my reaction of not knowing anything, I was like, can I help you? Like, do you know me? And he said, are you Savannah Ortiz? And I was like, yeah. He goes, can I come in? Sure, why not? It's not my hospital bed. Like, it's in my room. And so he came in and he looked straight at my mom. And my mom looked at him and I was like, who are you? And he said, I was the paramedic that pulled you off the beach on the Starflight. And my mom looked at him and goes, can you tell us what happened? And he grabbed her and he said, ma'am, your daughter died. She was on life support and we incubated her and she didn't take it first. He was like, your daughter was gone. And as he's looking at me, and obviously I wasn't even crying because I was in disbelief. And he said, your daughter died. And he looked at me and he just smiled. He goes, your smile lights up a room. He was like, and I don't know how. And he said, I've never, out of my 23 years, I've never been able to come to this floor from a South Padre incident and see a patient that's still alive. And so we go, can you tell us what happened? And he goes, you came off the beach. You automatically you skipped the little unit that they have on South Padre to help people when they give them water or anything. He said, we didn't even stop. He said, time was literally not on our side. You went straight to the ambulance. And in the ambulance, we incubated you. You didn't take. Water was coming up. We tried to incubate you again. You didn't take. And more water came up and you flatlined. And out of the 4 paramedics, I guess how it works, they make a choice to call time or to keep fighting for you. He said, and I made a choice. And they put the tube in the 3rd time. And he said, somehow water came up and you took. We were able to pump your heart. We were able to keep you on oxygen. So your brain, you didn't have brain damage. And we had all 4 of us going like time, vitals, pulse, where's Starflight? He said from there, we waited for the flight to get there. And Starflight came and they took you. And you weren't alive. You were just on support from machines. And you came in and you had been a pronounced dead victim in the, I think it's a PCU. It's more extreme than the ICU. I don't know the exact names. You went in there and they can't pull the plug also because they're trying to find family members. And on Starflight, he said that, I'm talking to you, reached up and you tried to pull the tube out of your throat. And the doctors that I had talked to were like, we don't know who this woman is. And I tried to pull the tube from my throat to try breathing again. And as he told me, I started laughing because I was like, that's why my throat hurts. I was like, that makes sense. He goes, but I can't tell you how many people's faces lit up and that they were so happy to see that you were alive, that you could actually breathe on your own. I was like, yeah, because it was kind of annoying. And he said from the PCU, you were pronounced a drowned victim. And you had a blood alcohol level of 0.48. And if you know anything about blood alcohol levels, you should probably be dead before that. Around a 0.45 is brain dead and 5 is flat. So pronounced as a drowned victim with a drowned victim with water that had filled my lungs, because when they tried to give me water wasn't the thing that I needed. Water filled my lungs because I couldn't swallow it correctly, and it killed me. So once I went to PCU, and that's what they were calling it, I had pulled the tube from my throat. I then went to ICU, and then I recovered enough on my own to be admitted in a short period of time. And as he's standing there, he says, out of my 23 years of being a paramedic, no one has ever made it to this floor because no one has ever survived. He said, and yesterday somebody left. And he looked at me and he goes, I don't know what it is about you. He goes, but the fact that you're okay, the fact that you're alive, you are just meant for so much. And right there, after not knowing anything, thinking it was all a joke and thinking that I wasn't unstoppable anymore, really made me realize, like in that moment of just thinking, that I didn't want to be perfect anymore. I didn't want to be perfect for anyone. I just wanted to live life. I took to the point that I turned to alcohol, and I just went way too hard, way too quickly, and I killed myself because of it. No, that being said, it's one of the scariest moments of my life, and I still struggle to understand it, because you wonder, why didn't I die? You wonder why you're still here. And it's kind of a struggle, because in between that, you can't think like that. And so that night I drove 6 hours home. I got released, and they were like, do you want to stay? And I said, no, I just want to be in my bed. And at the time, my sister and I lived together, and I was like, I just want my sister. because when she had made it to the hospital, she had climbed up in the bed with me, and she just hugged me. And we got home and she climbed into the bed with me. We slept for a little bit, and then when I woke up, I had to get medication because they were scared I was gonna have ammonia because my lungs were still filled with water. And she looked at me and I was like, I'm done living for other people. I'm done caring what other people think. I'm done trying to please the world that you can never please. So I looked at her and I said, let's travel. I said, let's go somewhere. And being the baby entertainer me, she's like, okay, well, let's first get your meds. I said, but let's go. I said, I'm done. This was a sign, and I truly believe everything happens for a reason, because from that moving forward, a month later, we flew out to Colorado. We booked our tickets and we flew out to Colorado. I had already enrolled in summer classes because I felt the need, and I dropped them. I wasn't doing it for me. I had my 2 college degrees and I didn't want to do it anymore. And for me, it was my choice. So I dropped the classes. We went to Colorado. That following time, I went on vacation for the first time for my birthday, and I went to Miami. And I now live in Miami. I fell in love with it. I moved to Miami, and I decided that I was going to do everything for me. And that came to the point that I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to see what else was out there. Life is so precious, and life can be taken, and life was taken from me. And for some reason, I got a second chance to live. I'm put here to do something. So what is my something? Because for me, my something wasn't to constantly get degrees or to make people proud or to do certain things that I don't want to please other people. I killed myself trying to please other people. And after Colorado, then I went to, this is all back to back from Colorado. And then I was like, okay, what's next? I went to Miami. And then 2 months later, I booked my first international trip and I went to the Bahamas. And then obviously Christmas came, and then the next turning around, my first month in February, I took a trip to Mexico. And then after that, I flew over to Europe, and I went and stood under the Eiffel Tower. And it was a big lifelong dream to stand under the Eiffel Tower. And I went to Amsterdam, and I went to Belgium, and I went to Germany, and all these in amounts of times. And then 2 months later, I quit my full-time job. Not 2 months later, shortly after, when I came back I prepped myself. But I came from Mexico to all those. Less than a year later, I quit my job. And I now live life in an aspect that you can be gone tomorrow. If I want to do it, I do it. If I want to say something, I say it. If I want to have feelings, I have them, because you're not promised another day. And to other people or to certain things that you can get so mad over or not understand, and it really doesn't matter, because we live in this beautiful thing called life that it's not promised. And it was once taken from me, and for some reason I'm here to do something bigger. My life is more than just me. And I think the crazy part is helping people on social media, and it came from trying to be perfect. And I know this video can jump around, but it truly explains one of the hardest things in my life. But taking from always trying to be perfect to having everything figured out for somebody else. And when I finally stepped back and figured out things for me is when I truly became happy. And the sad part is it took me dying to figure it out. And for so long I didn't understand it. But I think it was because it needed to happen for me to I'm not 100% sure where this video is gonna go because the camera overheated, but yeah, that is the gist of it. It explains, but from what I have taken of it is you don't always have to be, you get to make a choice in life. It took me going into respiratory failure and dying to realize that my life is meant for me to live. My life, and you get to, every day is a blessing. No day is promised. And as much as sometimes we never think it would happen to us, I never thought I was going to be one of those people that died on spring break that you see the incidents. I never thought I would get drunk enough or have that high of a blood alcohol level, or water would fill my lungs, or like, how does it happen to you? But at the same time, how did I learn from it? How do I grow from it? How does every day that I wake up and realize that it's a blessing, that I need to live, that I don't need to please others, that you don't have to be perfect. And I think that I take it as a blessing, because it taught me so much to fight for who I want to be and who I am, and who does Savannah want to become, instead of what does everybody want Savannah to become. And after that, I changed my life. So as much as one person could take it as I killed myself, I think I actually found myself. It's just the beginning.